Hello fellow Earthlings, it's great to be back on planet Earth. I just landed in the spaceship behind me. Let's see if the Cybertruck could be converted into a cyber camper to live and travel in. This could possibly be my worst idea ever because I've already had some technical difficulties, but we'll get into this later. This is an all-wheel drive truck with adaptable suspension and locking differentials. It can go 0 to 60 in 4.1 seconds, and I can confirm that the top speed is 112 miles per hour. Don't ask me how I know. Let's check out the 600 horsepower engine under the hood. Just kidding. There's no engine, silly. There's just a frunk and two motors providing 7,435 foot-pounds of torque, which is super fun until you run out of battery. What really makes this an interesting option for an overland camper build is the 2,500 pound payload in the truck bed. That, along with the adjustable air suspension, could hold a pretty nice sized truck camper. The problem with the Cybertruck though is that it has diagonal bed rails. You can't just slide a standard truck camper into the back of the bed. The size of the truck camper won't clear the rails. If you have any suggestions on how to overcome that, please leave them down below in the comments because I really feel that a truck camper would be the best option for living and traveling in a Cybertruck. As another option, you might be able to make a stealth living and camping space back here in the bed. No one would even know you were back here. There's even plugs to plug all your things in. However, I'm not sure that there's sufficient oxygen and ventilation in here, so probably not the smartest idea. Best to just store camping gear and, cook off the truck bed. I may have one last solution, and it possibly is the most comfortable of them all. Let me show you. As you can see, it's pretty spacious back here. There's definitely enough room to build a little bed, and the benefit of staying inside the truck is it's climate controlled. With the battery, you can adjust the temperature all night long. I'm not sure how much that would affect the battery charge overnight, keeping it cool or warm based on the weather, but I do know that if you got window covers, not only would you be helping with insulation, but you'd probably help on battery usage. And while you're back here, you can even chill out and watch a movie. Check out these screens. There's one here, and then here's the climate control. So it's really cool. These are actually touch adjustable, so you can adjust the flow of air, or you can check out the screen up front. This is where you choose your movie selection, or you can play a video game. So if you're a child at heart like me, you definitely have to check that out. And then also, just imagine it's a cold winter's night. There's snow coming down, and you're nice and cozy in here. Look, 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 look. You can start a nice little cozy campfire. Oh yeah. It starts blowing hot air and it actually starts playing like cozy romantic music. It makes staying in the Tesla nice and cozy for two. And then check out this moonroof. Look how big this thing is. Can stargaze at night or get woken up by the morning sunlight first thing in the morning. Just gonna have to test out and see what kind of bed I could get set up back here. So what do you think? Would you stay inside here in the Cybertruck, or would you try to get a truck camper for the bed? Okay, let's test this thing out in the off-road mode. Well, that's a bunch of baloney. Damage to the vehicle while off-roading is not covered under warranty. Well, that feels like a scam. Who buys a truck and doesn't off-road it? Say it's a tough truck, you won't even back it up off-road, especially when you have an off-road mode to choose from. Sounds like you guys over at Tesla are a bunch of wusses. Here you can see the off-road mode, overland or Baja. That's probably slow and boring. That's ripping. There's a surface option. I'm gonna be using this gravel and deep snow for sure. The locking diffs are at the bottom. You can turn them on, both the front and the back, or just the rear. Rear steering, which I absolutely think is so cool. This is just too inviting. It's just proceed at your own risk. I want to drive through 2 feet 7 inches of water in an electric vehicle. It's like telling somebody not to touch something and they're like, I absolutely have to touch it. Based on how much connectivity they have with these Tesla vehicles and your personal data, they can probably record everything you're doing. Pretty easy to see what mode you're going in and where at what time and day. Sounds like a great way to avoid a warranty with no problem. I don't really know how well the computer is going to be good at determining how to handle in these situations. The only way to tell is to just send it.
It's clear as an EV truck that it's going to need some pretty extensive testing on different terrains, but one thing I've liked so far is the adaptable air suspension, and the fact that the underside is like one big skid plate.
Let me give you an idea of what these ride heights look like. Right now I'm in high ride height mode, which is about 12.9 inches of clearance. Let's move up to very high. We're now up at 13.9 inches of ride height clearance. All the way up, extraction mode. And this is the warning you get. Raises Cybertruck to maximum ride height to increase traction and underbody clearance when stuck. Only use when necessary. Air pressure recovery time required before re-engaging. I'm so high off the ground right now. Woo! 15.7 inches of ground clearance right now.
How many rocks do you worry about at nearly 16 inches?
Not only can you lift the Cybertruck and get more clearance for off-roading, but you can also lower it and go faster in the sport mode. Yes, in your standard truck, you can only stay at one height really. With the sports mode, it brings you lower to the ground for a lower center of gravity, better acceleration, and more focused handling, and really just more of a sports car feel. I'm really excited to try it on this winding canyon road. Yeah boy. Who's ready for the roller coaster ride? Who's ready to lose their lunch? This thing just rips through the apex on corners. Oh my gosh, this is so crazy. There's like nearly no body roll on the corners. I don't know if that's the air ride or just the fact that there's a lower center of gravity in sport mode. The torque and power is just, it's instantaneous. Honestly, a standard truck stands absolutely zero chance. It's just, there's nothing else like it. Oh my gosh. I could never do this in my Ford, ever. There's no chance. There's a very small percentage of trucks that could do this, but not many. Not like anything else I've ever driven. It's like having an off-road truck and a sports car all in the same set of four wheels. Until the battery dies. Wah wah. Just make sure you buy a supercharger before you take on any challenges. Otherwise, you're not gonna be winning any races. Another really cool thing about going downhill is that with the regenerative braking, I really don't have to use the brakes at all. The second you take your foot off the acceleration, it starts slowing down for you. So it makes driving winding roads really fun. And what's cool is that when I'm going downhill, I'm actually gaining more battery power than I'm using. So I'm storing more energy while I'm having fun going down this winding canyon road. I wasn't sure I liked the regenerative braking system at first, but it's really growing on me.
If you're in a remote area with no superchargers around, you could easily run out of battery before reaching one. I've already seen the warning message.
You see, Tesla's claiming around 340 miles of range, not the way that I drive. I could find no way to quickly charge the truck. Oh yeah, you can set it to pass gas when it locks.
I could find no way to quickly charge the truck in some areas. The truck only comes with a mobile charge cord, and when plugged into a 120 outlet, you're lucky if you get 3 miles per hour. You need a 240 outlet if you're actually planning on going further than a couple miles. And if you do the calculations, it would take you days to charge the truck with a 120 outlet and the mobile charging cord.
The only solution I could think of if you got stranded was to knock on a random stranger's door and say, "Good day, sir. Could I please unplug your dryer so I can charge my truck and be on my way?"
Yeah, not happening. There are third-party chargers that exist, but I couldn't find a Tesla adapter that would work with the Cybertruck using the CHAdeMO or CCS combo plug that are on many of the third-party stations. If it sounds confusing, it is, and harder than it needs to be right now. Most of it's supposed to be standardized next year, but who knows how long it's actually going to take. If you live in a big city or have a house to charge in, you'll be fine. But if you're always traveling and in remote areas, you may find yourself in deep trouble.
You gotta let me know, what do you think about living and traveling in a Cybertruck? Let me know down below in the comments, and stay tuned for more Cybertruck adventures. Ow! Everything on this thing is extremely sharp, and I've already jacked myself up on every edge I could find.